Namaste, guys. I hope you all are doing amazing. Welcome back to my channel, Alchemy with Phoenix. Thank you all for being here. Earth angels, light workers, light warriors, star seeds alike. I hope life is treating you well because you are treating yourself well, right? You are loving on yourself. You are standing up for yourself, right? You are tapping into your truth, right? Remember, that's what it's all about. Tapping into your truth. Your raw, authentic truth. You not a part of the collective, right? You are in the collective, right? But you don't operate like the collective operate. I mean, like the collective, the ones who has not tapped into their divine space, right? The ones who are still asleep to their truth, right? That is what I'm talking about, right? Because the more you stand in your truth, the more you activate your truth, the more you activate others, the more you activate ley lines, right? And so that's what I'm talking about. That truth, that light that resides inside of you, right? It resides inside of all of us, but some of us are not here to wake up to that truth. Okay? They're just not. They will wake up to their truth when it's time for them to wake up to their truth. You're not here to tell anyone their truth. Okay? I always tell you to take these messages if it resonates. Everybody doesn't resonate with that Christ consciousness energy. I have to make sure I keep repeating that, not to discourage you, but to help you to see when you're in your heart space. Everybody just don't resonate with that energy, okay? Another thing I wanted to lay down with you all, something that I was getting while I was in a tub, taking my bath. It says, remember forces that will try and keep you from being who and what you are, right? That is the light. So today is associated with the planet Saturn, right? And so Saturn is, some can say, karma, discipline, lessons being learned. Are you going to repeat lessons over again, right? And so that's something that I wanted to check in with you all. And then another reason, heavy energy come around you or come up, because it wants to be witnessed. It wants to be witnessed with love, okay? So make sure you're keeping aware of that. If you're feeling a little funky energy, if you're feeling off, okay? That's something I want to talk to you all about. Another thing I wanted to talk to you all about is that I'm going to start a new segment. It's going to be called Auntie Peaches advice, right? Advice from Auntie Peaches, okay? I am Auntie Peaches. My grandfather gave me that name when I was a little kid. I had to be a baby. We lived in Chicago, and he said that I was round and fuzzy like a peach. So he called me Peach Fuzz. And so ever since then, I've been having that name, Peach Fuzz. And I remember in kindergarten getting made fun of, and I didn't want to be Peach Fuzz no more. So he started calling me Peaches from that point on. Yeah. Or Stank. I never understood why. Like he stopped calling me that when I got older. I guess he used to call me Stank when I was little. I don't know. I was a baby, but I got older, and so since that kindergarten, he'd come pick me up from school. He would start calling me Peaches, okay? And so this segment, because my nieces and my nephews always calling me, asking me for advice, and they just be like, wow, Auntie, that was some good advice. Or they'd be like, oh, Auntie, you were right. And so this segment I'm going to call advice from Auntie Peaches, right? Something that I've been guided to add into my readings, like when we're faced with challenges, how to face them, coming from the aspect of what would Jesus do type of energy to it, right? That way it helps you maintain your vibrational frequency, right? It keeps you sovereign. It keeps you in your light, you know. It keeps you from dealing with shame, guilt, grief, anything that you blame yourself for when you making decisions as a light warrior, right? Or as a light worker. Someone that, you know, finds it hard to set boundaries for themselves because of our wounding, right? And so that's something that I'm going to add into this, and I hope after I deliver the message I can give you advice, practical advice, right? Practical, but these 3 cards wanted to come out, so I'm going to take them. Practical but useful advice with spiritual knowledge with it, okay? So I'm listening to some chanting. This is the Venus chant. It helps you control the mind, okay? It helps you to silence the mind. So we have conduit here. So let's see what the messages are for today. Inner vision. Okay, I'm going to be pulling from these 2 decks, and I'm going to get some tarot. But if I'm guided to get something else, I will definitely do that. So that was something that I wanted to talk to you all about. I was writing it down. This part of my journey, I've been guided to listen to mantras. The mantras will only work for you if you have gotten rid of your religious structures. That's the only way mantras will work for you. If you have like still strong religious structures that you feel like you should be following an outside God or something like that, these mantras, they'll bring up so much shit in you that you can't handle it, right? Man, when I first started doing the mantras, I had so much inner turmoil, but I understood that that inner turmoil was, that's something that needed to be released from me, and I had to allow that energy to flow through me, okay? And so, yeah, I stopped doing them, and then I started back this year, okay? So that's something. I guess I'm guided to look at these cards also. But I did have a message from Mother Nature, okay? This is what I want to start first, just in case these cards start telling me that, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I knew I should have said that. So let me go, okay? So let me see. Not loving on the body, okay? How that shows up in your life is not being appreciated to the land. So you're not appreciative of where you live, like the background of where you live, right? Not the buildings and the people of the land, but the scenery of the earth, right? The overall structure of the earth, of where you live, right? You're not appreciative of that space, right? The space that is holding you. You don't see it because we can be too consumed. We can be too consumed of what's happening in the land, right? And so your body is like an association with the earth, right? Because it houses your true soul, right? And so Mother Earth, Ayla, the land, it houses us, right? And so when we're sometimes we don't focus on our bodies so much. I knew that for me when I was a child, the way I was raised, the body wasn't something that was focused on. That only became something when Eazy-E and, you know, the biker shorts and when women began to be associated as, like, I don't want to say sex objects because that's been out. And I guess I may be talking about in, like, for my community type of thing, okay? I was raised up with that Eazy-E music. Bitch better have my money, you know, the sexualization of women, you know. I know it's been out way before that, but I'm talking about my era. I'm 49, okay, and so I'm talking about that with me. My mom didn't really play that shit, so there was nothing that I could do with that. Girls was wearing around their little biker shorts, the cutoff shorts. My mom was absolutely not. Don't even effing think about it. So I wasn't sexualized, if I want to say that, if it's clear to say that, yeah, it is. I wasn't sexualized like that growing up. And so as I started to get older, I started seeing women, dressing with the way they want to dress, and I still wasn't sexualized myself. Even in high school, I wore pencil skirts, I wore blouses, I wore high heels. It was like me and two other girls in high school. We wore high heel shoes and skirts to school. And so it was like I was more of a sophisticated type of young gal, right? And so by the time I hit my senior year in high school, I'm pregnant. And so I never had a chance to fully appreciate my body for what it is, right? And so, I was young. I had my oldest son. I was 18 when I had him. And so I graduated high school in honors, right? I lived my life. I still didn't sexualize my body. I went to 11:11 on my timer. So it was like, it was giving that type of energy, okay? And I don't know, we have thank you. Get me back on track, because I was getting ready to start cringing, okay? Because I was getting embarrassed. So we had we have a collective consciousness, right? A collective consciousness that is associated with the world on how women are supposed to look, right? Like the video vixens, the models, with the BBLs being blown up, the tummy tucks and all that stuff, right? We have that thing going on. Most women do, to where we feel like we need to look a certain way in order for men to look at us, right? And so it's like nature, she was just pretty much giving, like, I am that I am, like I am this. I am not what people in the land is. I'm just naturally this without 1222. If the people were not in the land, I would still be what I am, right? And that's the same thing for yourself. If you were not, even men, right? If people were not around you, you will still be you. You will still have your body, right? And so it was giving that type of energy, like how to not associate yourself with, the way we supposed to look, right? That was something that was coming up since yesterday. And I had a real good conversation with a friend of mine. And he was just talking to me about like how men see women or whatever. And he was just like, it don't matter if you go and get a BBL or a tummy tuck. If a man wants to F, that is what he's going to do, regardless of what you look like. And then he said that's why so many women be heartache and say, you cheated on me for this ugly, so and so. And he was like, but we don't think about that at the time. We think that this woman is doing what I want her to do, and that's just going to be it. And then he was just telling me that rawness of it. And I was just like, wow, just, listening to him, because I am a little bit naive. I don't know how to say that. I am very childlike. Somehow, I don't know, like the Most High made sure that I maintained my sense of childlike wonder. And, I don't know. Oh, God, Spirit. But that was something that was coming up, okay? Oh my goodness, about that. And so since I've done like a lot of shedding of the personality, revealed more of my true self, I see that I've never really changed in that area. And I would like sometimes still feel embarrassed or ashamed when I would have sex with people, with men, right? I was just, look, let me keep going. I would be embarrassed, okay? I would have to drink something because I had a subconscious thing going on in me that would not allow me to enjoy it unless I would have a drink, right? And so now I just don't do it, okay? And I don't know, maybe I'm healing that, okay? Yeah, I can admit to that, but that was something that was coming up from nature, okay? And so I didn't say enough about my business, so let me get to the reading, because this may be very significant for someone that is healing that collective consciousness, right? The collective energy of being a woman or being a man. Oh, get chills. Thank you, Spirit. That energy is what nature was talking about. Like, regardless of this, the people, right, the buildings, I am still here, right? So that was something that nature wanted to come through and say, right? And so, but anyway, let me get back to the reading. Jesus. What is it that, let me see, what do you want to say, Spirit? What do you want to say? Let me send my cards. My guys are laughing at me. We have the primordial element of water with us. We have the primordial element of the earth with us, and we have the smoky mirror, right? How are you viewing things, right? Mystical shaman. Thank you, Spirit. Many paths, right? And so this is the energy, okay? Like, I cannot believe them. They just came through like that. Thank you for being here, Spirit. So let's see what they want to say. We have the beloved. Remember, we were talking about the inner child, like the inner child, like that innocence of you. Excuse me. It doesn't see children, right? That is where we were. That is what we are returning to, right? We are returning back to pure source, right? Pure love, pure radiance, right? And so we don't, like, children don't have a judgment about the world until it gets planted into them, right? Until they get programmed, right? And so, man, we have psychic healing. I'm not surprised, because this is something that we are healing. This is something that I was tapping into earlier, okay? And then the blessings, right? That's very beautiful. I'm getting a lot of joyous energy off these cards, okay? And so, children don't have a judgment about things, right? And that is where we're going back to. Whether you know it or not, that is your return home. The divine child, right? And so pretty much when you can release the labels, release, you know, the experiences that you have associated with the earth. You know how we always say, oh, this world is fucked up, and this world, somebody I knew, there was a neighbor that would always say this world is going to hell, like hell in a handbasket. And I was a kid and I used to hear that, and I'm like, what does that mean, hell in a handbasket? Like what is that? And it's just like, even with me having a really not so favorable life, okay, me getting hit by a car, I was out in the world, right? Even though I was 12 and my sister made me cross the street, right? Even though I wanted to go to the street, like she made me cross the street, right there. I hit by a car, right? It was that type of, is this energy, how you see things that happen in the world. Thank you. You see people getting into car crashes. You see like plane crashes, wars and things like that, right? And so, yeah, I need my cellulite. And it's just like, because my heart chakra is like opening, like I can feel it, like, and I'm gonna start crying, because when I get in my heart, yeah, that's what happens. But anyway, when you see things like that, you see all the wars, the loss and things like that, And it's just like Mother Nature, Earth, Ayla, she wants you to know that like that is not her doing. Even like how we are responsible for the earth, okay? I'm feeling like attacked spiritually when I come on here. I feel like recently, I feel like somebody is sending me daggers, okay? I will send it back to you with love. I return it to you with love. I can feel that. I felt that last night in the reading when I was doing the reading, the pick-a-pal in part, group 2. The same space, like something is trying to prevent me from speaking from speaking this. I send it back to you with love. You will look at your own shit. I don't have time for it. Okay, but anyway, and it's just like Ayla is saying like eat like the collective conscious, like how we are responsible for that, like how all of our emotions, and that's why the water element is here, right? The primordial element of water, right, is here, right? Because this is all our emotions, all of our unhealedness, all of our coldness, all of the things that we keep bottled down within us. And that is not a word that I would say. I don't even know what the fuck bottled means. But it's all of the things that we keep bottled down within us, right? And it's like if we're not purging it, Earth has no other choice but to purge it, okay? And then we see the results of the people. They're emotionally sad. It's like Earth, Ayla, right? Gaia, whatever you want to call her, is sending Earth, its people of the Earth itself, in a healing. It is giving awakening, like Ayla is awakening people, right? And because of the storms, right? But this is like us, we're keeping things bottled up inside of us, right? And that's why sometimes if you're chosen one, if you associate yourself with that, you don't, that's fine, okay? But it's just a label that explains your vibration, or your natural vibrational frequency before the program, right? And a lot of times that's why we can be hit with a lot of things that, you know, we need to heal, ancestral, right, collective energies like that, right? And it may feel heavy because we're not, it's not just ours, okay? It is a collective energy, right? And so that is what Nature, Earth, Ayla is saying, like with the psychic healing, right? And it's just like she is helping assist the psychic energy. I cannot, every time I pick up this card and it goes into my right hand, I feel like my right hand is associated with like the father energy. And I feel so much, man, like grief. It doesn't feel like sadness. It feels like grief. Like, man, like Ayla, like was with this energy of like, who's protecting me, right? Like who's looking out for me. But it's more of a human standpoint. It's not this energy itself feels that way, because this energy knows that it is always protected by the land, and so I mean by the universe, right? But she's giving me the energy of when man first started digging into her, when man first started harvesting her resources, when man first started taking from her and not giving back to her. And when I say man, I just don't mean the male, I mean like us as humans, how we would take from her and not give back, right? And that's a lot of times some women can have this wounding, the same wounding that Earth has, right? So it's giving this type of energy, which is very deep, right? Oh. And she really, 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 really wants us as light beings, okay, to heal this energy, okay, within us, because the more we heal this energy within us, the more she releases it from her, and the less, I'm not saying the storms are going to be obsolete, right? But it's just like it doesn't have to be that much damage done to the earth. It doesn't have to be to where it's like wiping out humans, right? Like catastrophes in that type of sense. It's just a sense of her purging, releasing what it needs to release, right? This primordial energy needs to release also. And I feel so loving when I put it in my left hand. So this is like, it's like her feminine is very balanced, right? But when I put it in the masculine, I feel, man, I feel, I don't want to say, it just feels like grief, like sadness, like grief. It feels like nobody's taking care of me in that way. And this can be like for the chosen ones. Wow, collectively, I kind of felt that in my energy. It feels like us as chosen ones, right? You call yourself that, right? If you don't, you know what it says, right? It's just a word to describe your vibrational frequency before the program, right? And it's just something that we may be holding on to with this energy, okay? With grief of how we've been sexualized, not even just sexualized, it's just like how we've been taken from and not replenished. And this can be in relationship dynamics, family dynamics, okay, communal dynamics, okay. This is ancestral energy also, right? That is looking to be released from you at this time, okay? And so, you know, when I talk like this, I am talking spiritually, right? When I get the tarot cards, then we're talking physically, right? And so I am speaking about spiritual energy here, okay? Oracle cards to me are spiritual energy, okay? And how to, when you heal it spiritually, you don't have to worry about it manifesting physically, okay? And so then we have the beloved, the mystical shaman, and this is you diving deep, right, into the spaces of you that needs that release, that needs that it's okay. I am here for you. It's all right. I love you no matter what. You know, it's giving that energy. I know that oftentimes I remember I had to be like around 18 or 19, I think 19, and I was on my way to work. And I was getting on the bus. And it was like a gory accident with a deer or something. And I didn't see it right away until people start looking. And then I happened to look, and then it was crazy how the lady on the bus, she got down and she covered my eyes. And she said, "Don't look at that, baby." I had to be like, I was like 19. And I looked at her like, "Are you calling me a baby?" Like, and she was like, "No, don't look at that. Just come on, go on to the bus and go sit down. Like, don't look at that." And she was like, "You don't need to see that." And oftentimes I feel like those are like angels in disguise, coming to, you know, keep you safe, keep you from witnessing things that may F you up for the rest of your life, right? That may mess you up even more, right? And so this is the energy that I'm getting from this. A lot of times we all can be not so quick to use our intuition when it comes to making decisions for ourselves. We second guess the choices that we make with relationships. This could be for men or women, right? Because understand that masculine and feminine energy is what makes you, okay? Not the body, right? We're talking about soulness, right? And so this is you diving deep and releasing those parts of you that is energetically stuck. I'm trying to like feel into where this is. This could be even like solar plexus energy, okay? Especially if your intuition works with your solar plexus, it keeps you like overthinking. And when you overthink, you wind up not choosing anything because you don't want to make a bad decision. You want to it's just like, I don't want to make this decision but what if it's bad, right? And this can be in relationship dynamics. This could be choosing a job. This can be choosing the path, right? Thank you. This could be choosing the path, and where is it that you want, what spiritual path, right? What path you want to take. But look at that seer energy here. You already know what path you need to take, right? It's about you taking the path. Remember, all paths lead home, right? all of these religions are religion, as I got the download last night. Religion is a way to explain psychological and spiritual constructs. That is all religion is. Religion isn't the end all be all, okay? And so you have to explore different revenues to see where your soul works from. Thank you. Because you are made of many things, right? You know, the name of the Most High is many names, right? It isn't just one name, right? So you are multidimensional, made of many different things. You're not just made up of one thing. Your soul comes from many places, right? And it's just like you cultivating all of your soul's signature, right? The knowledge, using it to return to that of a child, right? Your ancestors, right? Even that lineage. You don't know where your mother and father come from. Your mother could have been Indian. Your father could have been European, right? It's giving that type of energy, and because it's a part of your lineage, right? Because it's a part of your ancestry, whether it's hidden or it's known, and it's just like you already have the automatic green light to do it, right? To use these different avenues, these different paths, right, that will lead you home, right, which is to your true self, right? That is the reason it is here. It is available for you here at this time, right? So this is giving that type of energy to me. And then when I saw myself, they was like, you're too to smile, because it's not really 10 could be significant. Okay, it's not so hard. It's not so hard. And so even with me, with the Muslim thing, that is something that has been like, I don't want to say, I just kind of like stay away from it, because that energy is kind of dark to me. And so I noticed that when my sister, she's a Muslim, and when she send me prayers, I can see her thought forms, and they are dark, and they're just like looking around me, like looking. It's the weirdest shit. So I know when she's praying for me, I feel her energy, her prayer, the weight of her prayer, the weight of whoever she prays to. It is very dark, and I don't know, like, I don't know how else to say that. It's just what it is. And a lot of times, some people don't know how to pray for people, you know. You're supposed to pray for people, not what your ego feels like they need, right? You don't send prayers out like that. So a lot of people don't know how to pray. But even with that, right, if I decided to tap into that energy of that Muslim energy, right, something is going to have to release within me in order for me to tap into that, right? I've released a lot of religious structures. Sometimes these different religious constructs, they don't bother me, okay? I don't feel no, especially with Indian things, like, I don't know if this is Indian, I'm not sure, I don't want to call it wrong or whatever, Hinduism, Buddha thing, because I was introduced to a lot of that stuff as a child. My grandmother used to have a lot of this stuff in the house, so a lot of these different deities, so it never bothered me, right? I understood who and what they were. My grandfather was a shaman, and so he would show me all these different things, and you know, how to cook with different herbs and stuff like that. So the stuff never really bothered me. But as I got older, the Muslim stuff, like, after I came from the military, my sister was like, hey, like, I'm a Muslim now, you should join with me. And then I understood that I only joined this thing with her at the time was because she talked me into it. Like, she always has been, even when we were kids, talking me into doing shit, then I wind up getting in trouble for it, right? And so now I'm just like, as I started awakening to my journey, I was just like, wow, like, I saw the wounded in that, like, the woundedness, how we follow people, right? And that could be the same with nature, right? How we just follow people saying that, oh, the world is fucked up, it's trashy, is this, is that, but really, it really isn't, right? It's just that how we're viewing things, right? And my perception of that could be just only because the way I've seen her how she is, her and her, whoever this guy is to her, no disrespect, oh my God, and how the TVs portray it, right? Just like they did with the Mayans, right? And so it's just like, we have to tear down certain illusions, right? And that's what I feel like Mother Earth is saying to us, like, when we tear down the illusions of, this is my fault, right? Because when we say the earth is going to shit, we're blaming it on her. We're not taking accountability for ourselves, right? Yeah. And so then we have the sage, the blessings, the smoke and mirrors, right? And it's just like, are we seeing ourselves? Are we seeing earth for who she truly is? Or are we looking at her from this smoky mirror, right? Even this energy, this Buddha energy, I think that is showing up in this reading right now. It's just like, are we really seeing the truth of who and what we are, right? Are we using the smoke to cover up the truth of us not taking accountability for the things that we do? Or are we using the smoke to cleanse the space so that we can see the truth of who and what we are? So it's giving me this type of energy, okay? Even with like owning up to the shit that our ancestors has done, you know, from the way they were drilling into the land, how they were eating from the land and not replenishing it. You know, when that fire started happening in Hawaii, I wound up having a dream before the fire started with the goddess Pele. And she told me, like, I'll burn this month. She showed me herself as like a Samoan lady with a whole bunch of flowers and stuff, and we were just talking, like sitting at the beach talking, and she just was like telling me about like her children and stuff, and we were talking about our kids, and then she said, I'll burn this motherfucker down before I let them have it. And I was just looking at her like, what? And we're just having a casual conversation, and when I say about like 2 weeks later, they go these Hawaiian fires, and I was like, wow, that was Goddess Pele I was talking to. And she said it just like that. Look, it's the truth. We have the vision quest, right? And then we have the primordial element of water. So it's just, you know, scrying with water, using the primordial energy of water to, and then we have 60 and 61 to take you down that river, to take you down that space, like you're flowing. I'm seeing like the lazy river, you know, like on that little round donut thing, and you're just flowing down a river, like seeing the times of life, right? Seeing how you fit in it, seeing your energetic blueprint and the way of life. And my awakening really hit hard 5 years ago when I saw my energetic path, when I saw the energetic blueprint of my own destruction of my thoughts, right? Of my upbringing, my program. And when I became aware of that energy, how I was affecting my own shit, man, that had me depressed for a couple of months, because I was just like, damn, like, you know, and I'm not saying I'm going to take full responsibility because it's collectively, right? But when I saw that, man, I was doing that, like, dang, like I was contributing to it. That shit fucked me up for a while. And so from that point on, I kind of became who I am, who you see before you. I had to look within myself and see the harshness that I had been projecting on earth, because it has been projected onto me, right? And so we have meditation, the blue star, okay, and then inner alchemy, right? So it's all about you tap life purpose, tapping into that space, tapping into that space of your inner self, right? Seeing where it is that you're not manicuring the landscape, where you're not listening to, where you're not nourishing it, right? And once you are in that space within yourself, you will be able to see the goodness of earth, right? The goodness of nature, even if you live in high crime zones. And then only then will your outside reality change. And that was something for me that I had to get accustomed to while I was living on the east side of Chicago. Shootings every night. I live right around the corner from a gas station. They would just be constantly shooting. It just be so happen. I had just left from the gas station, getting me a soda, a pop, or, you know, something from the gas station, or a pack of cigarettes. And then as soon as I get in the house, sit on the back porch, open my pop, drink, smoke me a cigarette, pow, 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 pow. And I would just be like, oh my God, I was just out there. Like I was just there. And only when I started to see past that, I started to see the beauty of nature. Nature started surrounding me with beauty. The trees would start talking to me. I would have birds. Like, you don't know if you know the bird, the scarlet tanager. It looks like a cardinal, but it has black wings. That bird came to come see me. Dragonflies and what is those? Hummingbirds. And all of these different animals and birds will come and accompany me and like be on my back porch with me. And I would just be like so amazed, like the trees and the clouds, and the weather was beautiful. And it was like I had like a whole bunch of dragonflies flying, hovering around me. So many of them that was like protecting me, right? It was like shielding me from the harshness of my outside reality, right? The neighbors, the people, you know, the meanness, to where I was able to maintain my childlike wonder, maintain that vibrational frequency, okay? And so, you know, my channel is all about alchemy. It's all about inner peace, cultivating a different vibrational state of being within you. And once I was in that state of true happiness, where I was, even if what was happening, it kind of felt like it came at me full-fledged, especially right after my son passed away. It just felt like it was following me even before my son passed away. I kind of knew that he was going to pass away because that shit was in my face, heavy, right? And so it just came at me like really hard, trying his best to take me down, right? It's giving that energy. And as I was saying, like, understand when these energies come against you, because they don't want you to stand in your light, right? And also they're just coming to be witnessed, to coming to be observed, right? And so it was giving that type of energy. And once I was able to alchemize the energy within me, then I somehow miraculously got the money to move. And it was just like, oh, and even when I got the money to move and didn't move, I was able to get the money to move. It's that type of energy, right? So if you're wanting to move from a space that you are in that's not conducive to who you are as a being, a light being, you have to shift whatever vibrational frequency you are within you, okay? And so you're gonna have to shift that, because whatever you say is what you're gonna get, right? And so I'm sorry, like I know all too well about not being in a space that's not conducive for you. I experienced that my whole goddamn life. I'm sure you have too, right? But it's just like it becomes a space to where it's time for you to say no more. It's time for you to be wild. It's time for you to just wildly say, I had enough of this shit, and just snatch your energy back, completely go within and just focus on you, your inner you, whatever thoughts you're having, whatever feelings you're having. You know, use what it is you need to use to raise your vibrational frequency, to pull down the mask, right? To get out of those spaces of bondage, right? To come from up out of Egypt, right? It's giving that energy, because, you know, according to the Moses theory, the Israelites were roaming Egypt how many years, right? Because they stayed complaining. They stayed in that state of, when is we gonna get there? We ain't gonna never get to the promised land. So since Moses' God ain't coming, we finna make our own God, right? It's giving that type of energy, right? And so it's just like, no, you're gonna have to cultivate a sense of peace, internal peace, right? That energy, right? 4404 on my timer. The visionary, period. And then we have the seer here, right? It is you being that. You already done seen the path, right? You've already seen glory, right? I'm sure you already gotten a vision. It's just a matter of you clearing up what comes up so that you can bring that energy, so you can bring Maintain maintain that energy within you, and bring that into your reality. It already exists. Your higher self already lives there, right? It's giving that type of energy. Thank you. We're cultivating self-love. And I didn't even got this card. And I got the other sound healing. Okay, look, because then I'm listening to sound, right? This is going to do it for you. And so that's why I was playing this. I felt like playing this so I can recommend this to you all. These chants, because oh my God, they work. They work. They work. It's only us Westerners, you know, beauty way. Look at that. You're meant to be around beauty. The dragonfly, look at that. The lotus, is that a lotus? I don't know. But whatever it is, it's beautiful. And you know what they say about the lotus. The lotus grows in the mud, right? It's that energy, right? So that you can become unshakable, unstoppable, right? The sorcerer of your own life. But let me see what that is, because I don't know, I was kind of feeling like attacked a little bit. And yesterday I was feeling that too, like I was feeling attacked. So let me get some energy on this sorcerer. But I feel like this is you being your sorcerer, because we have the mystical shaman, we have psychic healings here. What is the sorcerer spirit? Yes, justice, right? You bringing your own justice into you, right? That's beautiful. Instead of you sitting in this energy, worrying about the past or what somebody did to you, tower. You have to bring your own tower, okay? And look at this woman, the Queen of Cups, okay? So it's just like, this can be your inner Mother Earth. Look at that. She's sitting down looking, you know, looking at the riches around her, right? But yet and still she's holding on to this, whatever this heaviness is. I don't know, but this is just the energy I'm getting off of this, okay? Look at the angels on her chair right there. It's like she's not seeing something. The angels above her. She's not seeing the beauty, the love, the things that will change her vibrational frequency. And then I back on the, what is the energy of this? And that was something that I had to do, okay? And then the Queen of Cups came back out. That was something that I had to do, okay? Being left out in the cold, exactly. Like, who gonna take care of me? Like I said in the beginning, like, who gonna help me, right? Your higher self is, right? And so, what was I gonna say, Spirit? What is this? What is the, feeling like you're left out in the cold? You're not left out in the cold. You're always protected, okay? What is this Five of Pentacles? With that, the Hierophant, the King of Swords. That's that masculine energy, that patriarch energy. And then the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, this is you, that earth energy, right? You being stable in your divine feminine, right? This can be, you can be male or female, right? This is you being safe in that way, right? And then look at the Ten of Cups. Because you unbound yourself. You put an end to a cycle, right? And that can be like complaining about your outside reality, complaining about the world and the way it is. And so, I don't know, like, I'm gonna give you some advice, okay? This is Auntie Peach's advice, okay? Because I lived it, right? And so, I lived in that type of environment, okay? And so, the advice that I can only give to you is to, I don't want to say get delusional, but I want to say get delusional, okay? Go within. That is the advice that I can give to you. Like, get delusional, okay? Like, none of this shit exists. None of it exists to me. And so, people, I see everybody as love, right? And so, I was just simply say to myself, you know, I'm acting in the movie, and these people are acting just like I'm acting, right? We have the beloved twice, right? and is seeing things from a higher perspective, right? The eagle, the blade cutting through illusions, right? Wow, and the lower world, right? Cutting through the illusions of the lower world. And we have the rainmaker, right? Clearing things from you with the soul retrieval, because you see things in a beautiful way, right? And so with the seer, I cannot make this up, and you completing cycles, right? Because you know this is trickster energy, right? And that's how I was able to do it. Thank you. It just spoke this for me, because I was trying to figure out a way to say this without saying suck it up. Not suck it up, but delusional. And so that was something that I had to like cultivate within me. And even times like when I'm dealing in outside reality, and I'm faced with like the challenges of what happened to me in the military, like that shit still bothers me. I'm not gonna say like everything is everything, but I would definitely say like with your outside reality, especially your home space where you live, you can get delusion about that shit. You can pretend, right? That is the point of pretending. Thank you, Spirit. That's the point of your imagination. You can just pretend like you Cinderella. And she maintained her vibrational frequency, didn't she? And then her prince came, right? Even though that can be considered her divine masculine, right? That is you healing that within you, right? So it's giving that type of energy. And so just kind of like stay in that space. I know that sounds crazy as shit, but that's just, sometimes that is the way to do it, is getting in that space of delusion. Because the world is technically illusion. It is everything within you, right? Showing itself outside of you, projecting it back to you as to what you really feel about yourself. And when you can get real with yourself in that aspect, I'm sorry, because I'm not sorry, right? It's just about you just knowing the truth. We treat ourselves like shit, but we learned that from someone, right? And it's about you gaining your integrity, you standing up for yourself, saying no more. I will not talk to myself like this anymore. I won't talk about myself like this anymore. You know, I won't accept this anymore. That's that wild women energy, okay? That wild woman energy. You becoming who you are meant to be, right? That's that energy of you saying, okay, putting your big boy drawers on, your big girl panties on, saying, yes, I did this, I created this, right? Or this was passed down to me, right? But I don't have to accept it anymore. I can release this from me. You can take the stands and say, enough is enough, right? And so it becomes that, you know, responding different to your challenges, responding different to attacks that come upon you. It's about responding different to life circumstances and situations, right? That's the way you get off that wheel of karma, is to respond different to every situation that may come and shake you, that may come against you, right? And so that is why I listen to this type of stuff. You can see what this is. Okay, take a screenshot of that. And it's this is what I listen to, and it helps me to release shit. It has been working since I started back using it, and I'm able to get clear downloads, you know, clear advice, clear help is able to come through and flow. It's able to release me from the illusion of I'm helpless, or I can't do this, or I can't do that, and the world is against me. Like, it helped me to see the truth of things, that I'm never alone, okay? You know, and just by responding different, you know, I don't know how else to say that. And so this was something that needed to come out. I'm sorry it was so long. It needed to be what it needed to be. I hope this found somebody who it needs to resonate with. I hope you can gain something from it. Hope you can gain some knowledge from it, and help you to release and see things in a different perspective. I always tell you, if you need any help, please reach out to me. My email address is in the description. If you need a reading, that's in the description, okay? If you need any help, please reach out to me. Like, there is people that wants to help you, right? But people can't help you if they don't know you need help, okay? And so that was the message, my beautiful people. I love you all so much. Bye.